it all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. We are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day like all night like on the blue light, offense like, defense like, his squad like, house call like, and it sound like, and it sound like, and it sound like.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I am your host, Daniel Short. Today is Friday, January 6th, 2017. It is here, a new year. Awesome. Still amazing show. We are just getting better. Thank you for listening to the Short Sports Show. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm excited. New year. We got a jam-packed show for you guys. Lots of college football news. Of course, the college football playoffs national championship is just around the corner. I'm excited for it. Obviously, the NFL playoffs start this week as well. We got the wild card matchups, which there's some good ones. There's some good ones. We had some hype, and then some injuries happen, and it's like, yeah, you know, who cares? But it is all here. We are ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm pretty sure you're ready. We have a lot. Again, some of the stuff we're going to talk about today is, will the change at offensive coordinator affect the Crimson Tide? We're going to also do a way too early top 10 college football rankings. Yep, it's that time again. We did it last year at over 10,000 views. Lots of love, lots of hate from SEC fans. We're going to do it again. Is there going to be Ohio State quarterback competition? Where will Chip Kelly coach in 2017? He kind of screwed up. We'll talk about that. Also, will the trip to Miami affect the Giants in the NFL wildcard game? We've already seen this, where you've had some of the Giants wide receivers, of course, Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz, Sterling Shepard, Roger Lewis. They all went on a trip to Miami. There's some drugs on the boat. Do what you want, I'm just saying. But is that the way you prepare for a playoff game? We'll see. And, of course, we'll do our playoff predictions. I also have an interview with one of my best friends, Dimitri. I'm trying to get him on the show, but he's finally on the show. We talk about I can't even talk. The Denver Broncos and the future of the AFC West. He's a Denver Broncos fan. We'll talk about that and also some playoff predictions as well. So, again, a jam-packed show for you guys. Goals for 2017. We'll make this real quick. Well, I want to get into this show. Again, there's a lot. Goals for 2017 are simple. Very simple. Let's get over 2,000 subs. I believe we can hit that very quickly. We're already at a 1,200 on YouTube. I want to get to 2,000. I want to keep growing the show. Keep growing. And also, I forgot to say, I got a new channel, a little vlog channel on YouTube as well. I linked it in with the show. It's also in the description down below. No matter where you're listening to, you can go ahead and click that link, and it'll take you straight to the channel. Fourth and Short. It is, again, just quick vlogs. You know, I'm doing this a couple times a week. I've already got a few videos up there. They're pretty fun. And it's just kind of showing you guys a journey. It's going to have some motivational stuff, some inspiration stuff. Football, of course, a lot of football stuff. Some background stuff to see how I put the show together. A lot of cool things. And overall, just life stuff in general. It's pretty cool. I love it. I love working on it. I know you guys will as well. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well over there. Let's go ahead and match where we're at with subscribers on YouTube. So let us start with some college football news. Of course, Alabama's transition at offensive coordinator from Lane Kiffin to Steve Sarkisian apparently is going smoothly. That's what the team says, and that's what the team has to say as the team prepares for Clemson for the national championship game, a rematch on Monday. Sarkisian has already led, of course, multiple practices since assuming the coordinator duties after Saban and Kiffin mutually agreed to part ways. Yeah, of course. Following the Crimson Tide's 24-7 win over Washington in the Peach Bowl on Saturday, Saban said, quote, "This guy's been with us the whole year, the whole football season. He knows the offense. He knows the players. He's worked on the game plans every week, and he knows the system inside and out. He knows the terminology," end quote. Now, Saban doesn't expect big changes to anything on the offense against Clemson. Jalen Hurts, though, he's got to work with him. Jalen Hurts was exposed. He was exposed. The SEC Offensive Player of the Year, who finished 34 regular season touchdowns, threw for a season-low 57 yards against the Huskies. Now, and that stat it can be completely taken out of context very quickly if you don't pay attention to the rushing yards that Alabama had. Bo Scarborough had a breakout game over 180 yards of rushing. Just dominated the Huskies on the ground, multiple missed tackles. Nobody could bring him down. They were scared to tackle him. And so you really don't have to throw the ball when you've got a running game that's just dominating. Here's my concern, as we'll talk about the Alabama-Clemson game here in just a minute. Sarkisian, again, has worked this whole season. He hasn't had any hands-on. Part of his role as an analyst, he worked hand-in-hand with Kiffin. He was allowed to be part of the game planning aspect of the game, but he couldn't coach the players hands-on. In practice, in games, he was up in the booth, picking his nose, and that was it. So, he knows it, but it just a little bit concerns me because before this year, it's been rough for him, right? We all know he had an alcohol problem. He was drinking on the job, and it's not just your normal office job that he was drinking at. He was drinking while coaching collegiate athletes. That's not good. Now, we assume that that's all done. He's fixed that. I'm sure he has. And it's good for him that he did. But it just, from all of that, and to this crazy situation with Lane Kiffin now, and you're now taking over in your first game that you're calling plays. Now, of course, he's going to lean on the wide receivers coach who also helped call plays at Alabama. I don't have his name with me. But this is your role now. And it's not just against Louisiana Monroe, right? This isn't just some weak team that you're going. You're going against Clemson, who basically got out-coached, and that's why they lost the game. It wasn't because of talent. They just got out-coached. And they want this game bad. Everybody returned except for some players on defense. And they want this. I think Clemson's more hungrier for this national championship than Alabama is. Clemson wants this, and they are so happy that Alabama is the team. And it just worries me that Sarkisian might get roughed up a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be fully prepared for this. I have concerns. It concerns me. I think Alabama has definitely more talent. Obviously the best head coach. I just think Clemson has this a little bit more. We'll get into that in just a minute. I'll get a little teaser for you guys. JT Barrett, he announced he's returning for his senior year at Ohio State. The two-time Big Ten quarterback of the year had other options available to him. He could have declared for the NFL draft, but he said, no, I'm staying. I'm staying for another year. I don't like how we ended. You also have a chance to keep rewriting the record books at Ohio State and the Big Ten. Barrett's name is all over the record books right now, thanks to his 100 touchdowns accounted for, which included a single-season conference record of 45 scores during his freshman year in 2014. And there's also still room for him to develop after his completion percentage dropped for the second consecutive season. The Buckeyes have already made one official change to the coaching staff to help them get their passing game back on track, hiring new quarterbacks coach Ryan Day on Tuesday to replace Tim Beck, who left for the University of Texas. Numerous reports have also tied Kevin Wilson to Ohio State as a potential new offensive coordinator, though it's unclear at this point how head coach Urban Meyer might make room for him on the staff. So we'll have to see about that. So something I wanted to get into just real quick. Will Chip Kelly coach again in the NFL, in college football? Where is he going to coach in 2017? Now, I'll give you this. I think we can all agree. We all saw the writing on the wall that Chip Kelly was going to get fired from San Francisco. San Francisco has just been a mess. Their whole front office is just a mess. No direction. No idea what they're doing. After they fired Jim Harbaugh, they screwed up. Kelly had the chance to go back to Oregon. Could have talked to the University of Texas. Could have talked to just about any school, any big school that had an opening. But he said, no, I don't want to go back to college. I want to stay in the NFL. I'm going to finish this through. Then he got fired After a 2-14 season with the 49ers, he then told Fox Sports that, quote, I will evaluate all jobs individually. I won't rule out anything now. Well, of course not. You don't have a job. You're unemployed. Good thing for him. He's still getting paid off by the 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles still owe him money. So he's going to continue to rack up the bills, right? He's still got money coming in. So it doesn't matter to him, apparently. Now, of course, Kelly had his greatest success at Oregon before going to the Eagles and basically inheriting Andy Reid's team that led him to the playoffs and had his best season going 10-6. And then after that, fell apart. Right? I think we could all agree. I've already said that, but I'm pretty sure we could all say that Chip Kelly is not a good NFL coach, right? It just hasn't worked out anywhere. Now, of course, he entered a 49ers situation, which was already bad and is kind of set up for him to not succeed. But he made the mistake of not just taking back the Oregon job. He goes on to say, I will never leave my team when there are games left in the season. So I never looked at college because all those jobs are filled while the NFL season's going on. Again, you had to see the writing on the wall. You were gone. You knew more than the media, more than us, but we saw it. We saw it. That's when it's time to say, you know what? If I'm gone anyways, and there's a chance for me to go make $10, $11 million a year to go coach back at Oregon, I'm going to go take it. Because no NFL team is going to hire Chip Kelly as a head coach, right? It's not happening. It's not happening. He's not going to become a head coach in the NFL again for quite a while. And honestly, it's debatable whether he's going to be, if an NFL team will hire him as a coordinator. I just don't see it happening. He's had no success in the NFL. And now in college, there's nowhere for him to go. There's no big openings. The biggest opening for a school right now would have been Minnesota, but as of today, as of Friday morning, PJ Fleck is now taking that job. He's left Western Michigan to go to Minnesota. And honestly, that situation over there in Minnesota, which we'll talk about later in the show, is kind of screwed up right now. So what's next? Again, he's still getting paid. He's got 3 years remaining on his contract from San Francisco, so he's going to continue to rack in some money. Philadelphia still owes him money. He'll still get that. Maybe he just relaxes. Maybe he just chills out, doesn't do anything. And maybe that's the best thing for him. Maybe he just needs a year off of coaching, right? He's had no success since leaving Oregon. I don't want to count that first year at Philadelphia because that wasn't his team. That was Andy Reid's team. So we'll see. I think Chip Kelly's made a mistake. His ego definitely got in the way, and maybe that it's a reminder, it's a punch to the face to say, whoa, my ego was way up here when I should have been right about here. Well, see, let me know in the comment section down below if you believe Chip Kelly will coach in the NFL again. Where does he coach in 2017? You think he just takes a year off? I think he just takes a year off. I think that's the best option for him. I mean, there's no openings. He's not going to go be a coordinator at college. I couldn't see that happening. Maybe he goes to the FCS level. I think his ego's still too high. I think his ego's still too high for him to even take a coordinating position at some college. I don't know. We'll see. It's a little crazy over there. Like I said, Western Michigan's PJ Fleck is expected to be named the next head coach at Minnesota, according to multiple reports as of this morning. Fleck and Minnesota are in the process of negotiating a contract. Now, Minnesota fired Tracy Claeys on Tuesday, just 2 weeks after the football program became embroiled in a standoff with administration over the suspension of 10 players in connection with allegations of sexual assault. Jerry Kill, who's now a coach somewhere else, that the name skips me. I don't know where he went. But he was a former coach at Minnesota. He blasted the administration saying they're terrible. They handled this all wrong. This has been a mini Baylor situation at the University of Minnesota right now. And I'm shocked that PJ Fleck has left Western Michigan, which you could arguably say that they're in a better spot than Minnesota is football-wise, and you've left them to take over that program. And, I mean, you have players saying they're going to leave, that they were going to transfer. I just don't see where the payoff was here. Was it legitimate just because it's a bigger contract? Is that why you're leaving? I mean, you're going to Minnesota. It's not like you're going to have a good chance of winning in the Big Ten right now. It ain't happening. Not at Minnesota, and definitely not right now with their situation. It's a little shocking. It's a little shocking that he decided to go and take that job, especially right now. So, next up, Joe Mixon, right? Famous guy to be talking about right now. He's decided to turn pro. He's told ESPN in an interview on Thursday that he looks forward to showing NFL teams he's worthy of being drafted. Quote, I'm going to tell him the complete truth, that it's never okay to be in the situation I was in or to ever hit a woman. I look forward to I'm looking for them to get to know the actual me, end quote. Now, Mixon's controversial career in Norman came to a close with Oklahoma's 35-19 victory over Auburn in the Sugar Bowl on Monday, which he scored 2 touchdowns, gained 180 yards from scrimmage, 91 rushing on 19 carries, 89 receiving on 5 catches, doing what he's done all season long. And a third-year sophomore, Mixon, he was suspended in 2014 for this specific situation for punching a woman in a Norman deli. Now, the ramifications of the incident were resurfaced in December for some reason, more than 2 years later, when Mixon's attorneys released their surveillance video of the incident. They wanted to get it out there. And, of course, that just watching the video, if you haven't seen it already, it's very graphic. It's very disturbing to watch it happen. Both of them were wrong. Mixon should have been out of there and should not have dealt with it, whether he says there were racial slurs thrown at him. Whether that was the case or not, should have been out of that. No, and his teammates, there was teammates with him, should have pulled him out of that situation. Get him out of there. You know, we always talk about being loyal to friends. Being loyal and having someone's back when you know there's something on the line for them is to get them out of that situation completely, not getting their back and trying to fight. That's not being loyal. That's not having someone's back. Mixon, he made a tearful public apology in December saying he wanted to address the issue earlier, but his legal team advised him not to. Now, previously, Mixon said in an interview with police that, again, racial slurs were thrown at him, that he didn't like. That's what initiated the incident. Still bad overall. Mixon said he flew to Oklahoma from his home state of California on Thursday morning to deliver the news to his coaches in person. Mixon met with several Oklahoma assistants individually and then spoke over the phone with Bob Stoops, who was out of town at the time, and told him. Now, looking at his playing ability alone, ESPN's Mel Kiper ranks him 5th overall in running backs. That's behind Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Deontay Foreman, and Christian McCaffrey. But Mixon's not on Kiper's big board or on his list of top 10 running backs in his latest rankings now. So the question is, will Mixon be drafted? Now, when the video first surfaced and we had into that first week of it, there are already specific sources and talking to assistant general managers and general manager scouts across the NFL league that they're not going to draft Mixon. They're not going to deal with this, especially because of the situation. They're not going to mess with him. We'll see. I mean, we've had players where they've had some issues and come 4th, 5th round, they're still there, and they're like, let's go ahead and take them. I believe Joe Mixon will get drafted. Whether he should or shouldn't, I'm on the side of he shouldn't get drafted, but I believe he will. I believe he will get drafted. Some team is going to take a chance at him in the 5th, 4th at the earliest, anywhere through after that. Someone's going to take a shot. Someone's going to draft him based on his playing ability alone. He's not going to get any more trouble. Well, I should say he's not going to get in more trouble because of this incident. It's done with. He can't get arrested. He can't get in trouble anymore from that incident. That doesn't mean that he's a completely brand new person and that he's changed. So if he's ever in that somewhat situation, he won't do the same thing again. Hopefully not. Brent Musburger, I know he took a lot of flack for what he said. I agree with what he said. I think we shouldn't wish him bad. We shouldn't wish him saying that, I hope he never gets to play and whatnot. think we should still wish him good and hope and really wish that he's changed. That's what we should wish for, that he's changed and he has learned from all of this. That's what we got to hope for. It's tough for a team to take a chance to draft him. I think that should be his punishment. People want to talk about him being suspended. He redshirted that year. He didn't lose anything. Yeah, he lost the chance to play that year, but he didn't lose eligibility. He had the chance to come back and play again. He didn't lose an exact year of eligibility. He didn't really lose anything. Maybe this is the final punishment. Not getting drafted. Having to work his way up. We'll see. It's very controversial. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't. It's just how it is. That's what sports is. That's what sports is all about. All right, so the most famous of them all. Last year we did this. Got over 10,000 responses on YouTube. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Most people that hated it were SEC fans because I talked about how I knew Tennessee was going to be ranked high, as they always are. I think this year the poll people have noticed that Tennessee just is not good. They can't complete a year, right? And I talked about it. I got a bunch of hate for it. Tennessee fans and Auburn fans, I talked about Auburn as well. They all attacked me. They all went after me. I was right. I was wrong. I picked TCU to be in the top 10. That did not happen. TCU, we sucked this year. We were bad. I'll admit it. I'll say it, unlike Tennessee fans who will be like, oh, no, this happened, blah, blah, blah. No, you suck. You were always overhyped. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. But now, before the national championship game, we're going to do this again. Way too early. Top 10 college football rankings. Let's do it again. We're going to start off. And first, let me give you the criteria of this, I should say. This is the way too early rankings is not what's going to happen at the end of next season. This is the end of this season and the beginning of next season, right? That's the top 10 I'm looking at. Not how these teams are going to finish at the end of next season, all right? So I don't want people saying, oh, they're not going to make it. Look at their schedule. Chill out, all right? We're having some fun here. This is all fun. Don't get all butthurt if your team doesn't make the top 10. I didn't put TCU in there because I know we suck. We're going to get better, though. We're going to get better. All right, number 10. Florida State. After an exciting win over Michigan, there's a lot of hype coming back from Florida State, and rightfully so. And I probably could have put them a little bit higher. I think maybe a couple spots higher. And they're going to get mad when I put another team up there. With DeAndre Francois at quarterback and some receivers returning, you lose Dalvin Cook, but you've got some pretty good running backs. Some pretty good ones, right? The Seminoles are poised for another run at the ACC title next season. I like Florida State. I like with that young defense. I keep them at number 10 right now. And I originally had Ohio State at 10, but then I was like, I had put all this together and I didn't put Florida State in, and I forgot. And I was like, wait a minute, what about FSU? I saw a picture of them and I was like, oh yeah, Florida State. So I put them at number 10. That's where I got them right now. At number 9, probably we could switch 10 and 9, but I'm going to keep it where it's at. Number 9, Wisconsin. Underrated possibly, but Wisconsin knows how to play defense. And they played all season long, and they're going to continue to play it again next season. They're going to dominate in 2017, defensively wise. Offensively, they maybe it's just a style, and it's just me. Again, I'm trying not to be biased, but I don't like their offensive style. It scares me because all you have to do is shut their running game down, which it sounds easy to say. It's much easier said than done, right? But once you do that, or you can limit it enough, this team is done. This team is not going to air the ball out. You don't have to be scared. You could put 6-7 men in the box and still play normal defense and shut them down. That's what worries me. Hopefully some new weapons will help the Badgers. Right now, give your credit. Defensively, keeps them in every single game. Going with Wisconsin, number 9. Number 8. Possibly the biggest dark horse for the college football playoff next season. Way too early. That's the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Watching them live in person this season in the Alamo Bowl was exciting, and as a TCU fan, a little disappointing, right? The Cowboys are locked and loaded for 2017 season. They are ready to go. The return of Mason Rudolph, Justice Hill, who's I believe is just going to be a sophomore this upcoming season. James Washington returning, a defense that is really stepped up in a huge way. They lose some DBs, but they should be able to produce some really good defensive line and linebacker talent next season. James Washington, I meant to say this on him. In my opinion, he's the best slot receiver in college football, especially entering next season. He was incredible. Literally, go vertical. Rudolph just tosses it up there, and Washington gets it every single time. It's incredible. Oklahoma State's going to be a fun team to watch next season, except when they played TCU. I'm not going to have that much fun watching them. But it's going to be fun watching them next season. My dark horse for a college football playoff team, Oklahoma State. Number 7, and Florida State fans, I'm sorry, Michigan. I like what they return. Jim Harbaugh, you can never count them out. I was really shocked to see how they were pushed around by Florida State in the Orange Bowl. I really was. I had Michigan winning, and I honestly had them winning probably like 34-19. I thought that defense was going to lock down Florida State. Completely wrong there. Probably just like this top 10. But, Wilton Spike, he did really well for his first season at quarterback starting. He was a junior this year, senior next year. He has a chance to improve, of course. I'm a fan of what the running back core brings back next season. I like Kareem Walker. I really do. I have a feeling about Kareem Walker. I don't think he played that much or he redshirted this year. But I have a feeling next season might be his time to go. Jim Harbaugh will have his team ready. And that's why I want to keep Michigan right at 7. Not maybe a little too high, but it's not too much. Number 6, Washington. Now, it's tough to say that it was a disappointing loss to Alabama because, well, it was Alabama. They put up a huge fight. They hung in there with arguably the best, right? And Jake Browning, he's only going to get better. Myles Gaskin, Coleman at running back. One of the most obvious analysis that could have been made throughout the season for the Huskies, and most Huskies fans noticed this, and especially everybody in the country noticed this come the Peach Bowl, was the lack of quickness on that offensive line. Alabama, while, yes, that's a majority NFL talent, this offensive line looked like a junior high offensive line. They looked terrible. They're the ones snapping the ball. Alabama's already there. They were slow. They were so slow, and that's what screwed up for Jake Browning. You couldn't do a lot when you've got a half a second and you got to scramble for your life and get the ball out. So the O-line needs to get fixed. It was exploited very quickly in that game. They'll be losing some defensive starters to the NFL. They lose a couple of wide receivers. John Rossi was one of my favorite receivers, but he was exposed. I really think he probably should have stayed another year because Alabama, again, potential NFL DBs, John Ross was exposed badly. He can't get off the line on press. He can't. It's just something he cannot do. Not against a elite DB. He cannot get off the line on press. It was very obvious to see that. And while I know he's already a small guy, he's got to get straightened up. He was pushed around like it was nobody's business. I was shocked to see how John Ross was outplayed in that game. So they'll be losing some guys to the NFL in graduations, but the Huskies, they know how to recruit. They've been pulling in some top recruiting class very quietly. With the Pac-12 down, Huskies, they're poised for another big run, so I'm going to keep them at 6. Number 5, and this is going to come as shocking since the college football playoff the national championship game hasn't happened. Number 5 is Clemson. Win or lose, they won't be number 1. If you got to look at maybe that last poll, and then we have another one right after that where your last poll is what you finished with for the season, and then they've come out with another one very quickly to start off. The loss, of course, of Deshaun Watson is going to hurt this offense. I know they got Hunter Johnson coming in at quarterback, the freshman who's poised to be somebody big. But you got to understand and feel confident that no matter what you lose on offense, Deshaun Watson, Wayne Gallman, Artavis Scott, Mike Williams, you've got to feel very comfortable and confident because what you bring back on defense, that defense is going to keep Clemson in every single game this year. For how long? That's to be determined by how well the offense can step up and play. But that defense will keep you in the game for at least 3 quarters. And sometimes that's what you need. The defense, there's no more worrying about what they lose on defense. Past 3 years, 4 years that Clemson's lost the star NFL talent after NFL talent, and they've just reproduced. They're just Alabama on defense. They keep producing NFL talent, and no matter who they lose and we start getting worried about them, they produce another one. So I'm not worried about Clemson. They will stay in every single game this season. Of course, losing Wayne Gallman, losing some of those guys, very quietly, Clemson over the past 5 to 7 years has become wide receiver U. They've produced NFL talent at receiver over and over and over. Very quietly. We like to talk about all these other schools. Clemson has continued to produce NFL talent at wide receiver. Can they do it again this year? It'll be interesting to see. I still believe that the Clemson Tigers will finish, in the top 10 next year. But right now, I got them at number 5. Win or lose a national championship. Number 4, Oklahoma. Now, I know Oklahoma, that's another team that's been kind of hyped up and somewhat makes expectations and then doesn't. I think they will. The return of a potential Heisman favorite next season, Baker Mayfield, along with a really good Sooner team overall, is enough to put them in discussion of playoff talk next season. We might see another Big 12 championship with the Bedlam rivalry of Oklahoma State and Oklahoma to decide it. I like Oklahoma. I'm putting them at 4. Dominating win over Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. Auburn shouldn't have even been there. And I don't hate Auburn. I don't hate Tennessee. I just hate the hype that they always get. And then they fail to meet expectations, and yet they still get hyped. They shouldn't be anywhere in the top 15 next year, but they probably will be. So number 3 is where it gets fun, right? This is where it gets really fun. This is where the hate comes in. It's okay. I can handle it. After losing a classic Rose Bowl game in which we saw the emergence of quarterback Travis McSorley, James McFranklin, I'm sorry. I apologize. I made my words by midseason. I said you should have been fired. I said Penn State should have fired James Franklin. I'm sorry. I ate those words. I was completely wrong about that. You now have a top 5 program. The rise of the Penn State Nittany Lions is back. They are back. Penn State is back. It was a crazy game. They're only going to get better. That recruiting class is all going to shoot up, and it's exciting. Penn State's back. I have them at number 3. I know. Crazy. And number 2, well, let the bandwagoning begin. Let the hate flow through. If it hasn't already, after beating Penn State in arguably the best Rose Bowl game, yes, I'm even talking about better than the Texas USC game. It was arguably better. The Trojans finish in the top 3 and have another potential Heisman favorite at quarterback, Sam Darnold. The redshirt freshman lit up the Nittany Lions and broke so many records throughout the season. Coach Clay Helton has these young men buying into the system. He has them bought in. And he's getting these recruits bought in too. Levi Jones, if you're watching this, go to USC. You'll start very quickly. This team knows how to fight, right? Fight on. I don't believe in the hype. The USC usually got pretty big hype the past few years or several years ago. USC's back. USC's back. I have them at number 2. I know where they started off at the beginning of the season, but if you look at the way they've ended the season, who they played, who they beat, and how they beat them, this team knows how to fight. Number 2 is USC Trojans. And, of course, at number 1, the TCU Hornets. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. Hopefully. Maybe next time. Alabama. I mean, do I really need to say anything about Alabama, who about the number 1 team is? Win or lose on Monday, the Crimson Tide is number 1. They return a lot. They lose a lot on the defensive side to the NFL. They reproduce. It's just how it goes. The Crimson Tide will be given a number 1 spot. And if they win the national championship on Monday, this will officially make Alabama the greatest dynasty in college football history. No argument. Sure, they don't have the winning streak that USC, Miami, that they had, Ohio State had, those 30-plus win streaks. But to win 5 national championships in 8 years is something special that no one's done. That is a dynasty. Nick Saban, if winning that, gets 6 national championship ties, the great Bear Bryant, that is something special. The Tide, they continue to recruit top talent. They win national championships. They use and abuse those players. They go off in the NFL and they become bust. That's okay. We're talking about college football right now. Alabama's number 1. This is my way too early college football top 10 rankings. Let me know your top 10 in the description down, or in the comments down below. Let me know where you have your teams. Where do you are? You call me crazy for having USC and Penn State up there. That's fine. Don't dare say Tennessee or Auburn. I will block you. I will block you. That is it. Let me know in the comments down below. I wasn't biased here. I promise. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show and let me know your top 10 over there. It's special. It's special. Now, our last bit before we make our prediction on the College Football National Championship is this. Now, we just did our way too early college football rankings for next season. Let's go ahead and do our way too early 2018 college football playoff prediction, right? Our 4 teams. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have so much fun here. I'm going to tell you my early 2018 college football prediction. We'll most likely do probably, I don't know, we'll do one more before the season. Before, the week 1, we'll have our picks then. The first game, number 4, coming in at number 4. Oklahoma State at 12-1, going against the number 1 team, undefeated USC Trojans. That's right. I'm having Oklahoma State win the Big 12, losing to TCU. No. 12-1 Oklahoma State, shocking everybody, winning the Big 12, taking on USC, who dominates the Pac-12, beats Washington again in the Pac-12 championship, goes undefeated, and hosts Oklahoma State. I don't know where this is going to be, the Rose Bowl game, probably. Who knows? That's first one, right? We're doing pretty good. I like it. Oklahoma State, USC. In the second game, number 3, winning the Big Ten, the Penn State University at 12-1, winning the Big Ten championship again. Penn State Nittany Lions are in the playoffs at the number 3 seed, taking on the number 2 SEC champion. Of course, you can't leave them out because they're going to go back. But this time, not undefeated, with 1 loss. The SEC champion, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That is my 4 teams that will make the playoffs next season. My way too early 2018 college football playoff prediction. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. I know it's Friday. We haven't even played the national championship game. I already got the top 4 for next year. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't seen my way too early top 10 rankings, be sure to go check it out. The show, they've already heard it. They're already listened to it. If you haven't listened to the show, go listen to the show. It's awesome. Who do you have in your top 4 next year? Tweet me at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. All right. Let's talk about the College Football National Championship tonight. Or, well, it could be tonight if you're listening on Monday. Clemson and Alabama go at it. Alabama's a 6.5-point favorite. 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. Like I said, I am worried about Steve Sarkisian. I've never really been a huge fan of him. I don't want to say I don't like him. I just not one of my favorites, right? Clemson is angry. They're hungry. They're determined they still have that, I don't know if you want to say grudge, but they still have that it factor. They have something because of how they lost last season. Outcoached last year against Alabama. I believe this will be the best offense. Washington was the best offense Alabama had played all season, and they handled them. But that was because of a weak offensive line. And maybe some conservative play calling. Dabo Swinney has this offense ready. Deshaun Watson in his last collegiate game is ready. This is the best wide receiving core that Alabama has ever seen. Better, way better than Washington. There's talent all the way around. Clemson will win this game. They will win the national championship over Alabama in another shootout. 42-34. Clemson is your 2017 college football playoff national champion. That is what I'm rocking with. Deshaun Watson, 4 total touchdowns is my prediction. 256 passing yards. Just threw it out there. Just throwing it out there. This is the game. Clemson will win. And yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. Alabama, the dynasty doesn't die. They just have to wait another year. Nick Saban will have to wait another year for his sixth national championship. Clemson, Dabo Swinney, they deserve this. I'm rocking with Clemson to win this game. Today's show is sponsored by Intergrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with Intergrind. Not a Houston area, not a problem. Intergrind has a program that is personalized just for you. Intergrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at intergrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's intergrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. All right, we are back for the NFL topics. The Indianapolis Colts, they're planning on bringing back Chuck Pagano for his 6th season in 2017. Pagano, who has a 49-31 record with the Colts, was given a 4-year contract extension by Jim Irsay after the 2015 season. And, since then, Colts finished 8-8, failed to make the playoffs for his 2nd consecutive season, but he's bringing him back. He says he wants him, so the Colts job will be closed, and all for Chuck Pagano. And I like it. I like Chuck Pagano. I wanted them to rock with him. I really don't like Ryan Grigerson at GM. I think that's where the drafts have just been off for the Colts for the past several years. Chuck Pagano, that's also on his fault too. He should know what the players he wants to get. Ryan Grigerson just doesn't know how to draft. He's a terrible drafter. That's probably where the change should be, but I don't see a change there. If they're not firing Pagano, Grigerson is most likely staying. The Dallas Cowboys will be without defensive end Randy Gregory for a potential Super Bowl run this year for at least the next calendar year for another violation of the NFL's substance abuse policy. The league announced the suspension on Thursday, a few hours after Gregory took part in the Cowboys' first practice of the postseason. It is possible Gregory could appeal the suspension to federal court, just like New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady did in response to Deflategate, which could allow him to continue to play. But it is not known whether he will take that course of action. Now, Gregory can apply for reinstatement 60 days after the suspension ends. And, until then, really, he won't be eligible. He would be eligible, to play for the playoffs next year if the Cowboys qualify. And if he meets all the standards set forth by the suspension. So, yes, that hurts for the Cowboys to not have another player in Randy Gregory. But you do get back Tyrone Crawford, DeMarcus Lawrence, Cedric Thornton, they all returned to practice on Thursday. Terrell McClain, he went through some resistance training off to the side, and they're all expected to play in the divisional round of the playoffs on January 15th. Now, with Gregory suspended, the Cowboys have an open spot on their 53-man roster. They lost one of their defensive end through waivers after they reinstated Gregory. I think it was Zach Moore, I believe. He ended up getting claimed by the 49ers, so he's gone. So now they got an open spot that could bring somebody in. But for Gregory, he was selected, of course, in the second round, 60th overall in the 2015 draft. And the Cowboys believe they got a steal. And I think we all kind of said, if he gets his act together, this is a steal. However, Gregory has failed, just like his test, has failed to get his act together. Because of suspensions and injuries, he's only played 14 out of possible 48 regular season games. That's not good. He was going to be a cornerstone of the defense. And he can't be. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to ever get his act together. He might literally become a bust, not because of his playing ability, but strictly because he can't get his act together. The Washington team has fired their defensive coordinator, Joe Barry, and two members of the staff and a strength coach. It's not surprising, though, given the struggles of the past two seasons. Barry spent the 2 years as coordinator for the Lions, including during their 0-16 season. Of course, the Lions ranked last in both total yards and points per game in each season under Barry. He then coached the linebackers for the Buccaneers in 2009. Then went to his alma mater in Southern California, 2010 and 11. Then the San Diego Chargers from 12 to 14 before joining Washington. Miami Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill has been ruled out for Sunday's playoff game against Pittsburgh. With Tannehill out, backup quarterback Matt Moore will start for the fourth week in a row. I didn't like this quote, though, by offense coordinator Clyde Christen. He said Thursday, quote, "He knows he's our relief pitcher," end quote. He's talking about Matt Moore. I mean, you got to give this guy some confidence, right? Matt Moore will make his first career postseason start. He's a 10th-year pro. He's 2-1 as his Tannehill's replacement. And you say, yeah, he knows he's our relief pitcher. Like, are you serious? That's okay. We're talking about baseball. We're talking about football. I would say give him some confidence saying, hey, he's done well in his past 3 starts. We're confident in him. He knows he can make the plays that we expect him to make. That's what you should say. That's some confidence. Not like, yeah, he knows he's our relief pitcher. And once, Tannehill's out, comes back, Tannehill's back in. Like, of course he knows it, but damn, give him some confidence when talking to the media. Let him know that you believe in him, not just, he's our relief pitcher. He's all right. Like, are you serious? Come on now. The Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan is ready to become a head coach, but he won't let those aspirations deter him from his goal of reaching this year's Super Bowl. Source confirmed to ESPN that Shanahan will interview for head coaching vacancies in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Jacksonville, and Denver over the next 2 days. Those interviews will be conducted in Atlanta and were made possible after the number 2 seed Falcons secured this week's first-round bye. Now, of course, we all know Shanahan. He was a former Broncos ball boy. I mean, I didn't know that, but he is the son, of course, of his father, Mike Shanahan, who won back-to-back Super Bowls with quarterback John Elway, who's now, of course, the team's executive vice president of football operations. He probably might be Denver's next head coach. And speaking of Denver's next head coach, I talked to my friend Dimitri. We became friends around 7th grade. And he was the one that pushed me to grow my sports knowledge. I mean, we used to go I think we met in a keyboarding class, I think it was. And, you had a lot of free time in keyboarding, so you were able to go on like NFL.com, and that's how I read a lot of stuff. And he, of course, him being a Broncos fan, I just became a Chargers fan. I didn't know anything. And we went at it. We would debate, many debates. In 7th grade, we would debate each other. And we'd go at it, and he would always win because I didn't know what to say. Thankfully, the Chargers were winning at that time, so I always kind of had something. But then he would bring up about the Super Bowls. And I remember one time I made the stupid statement. I said, I don't even want to say it because it's so stupid. I was so upset because he was just getting me. And I said, we don't always play for a Super Bowl. I said something that's stupid, something along the lines. I don't know if you'll remember it. But I did have an interview with them, talked about the Denver Broncos head coaching opening, the future of the AFC West, and some playoff predictions. Go ahead and check it out. Like I said, I have Dimitri, my best friend, on the phone with me. Dimitri, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
How's life?
It's been pretty bad recently since, not too good of a football season, fantasy-wise, and, just all around. But, I mean, outside of football, I'm pretty good. Pretty good life. Pretty good.
Great. Now, I said earlier on the show that you are a Broncos fan. What were your initial thoughts on Gary Kubiak retiring?
Well, initially, I was surprised, just like a lot of other people. Before this announcement came, prior to reports coming out that he would be resigning, I didn't really want a head coaching change because Gary Kubiak was, a big part of disciplinary for the whole, disciplinary wise for the Broncos organization. It was somewhere along the lines, but kind of like the military kind of like disciplinary kind of style, and it kind of like, if you notice the way prior to Kubiak's hiring, how John Fox was, he wasn't as I wouldn't say lenient, but you see how the players responded to Gary Kubiak's coaching style. So, I mean, I was a little bit surprised just because, they do have a history. So I was a little bit surprised, but then again, with his whole health procedures, I was surprised.
Right. Now, who are you wanting for the Broncos to hire as their next head coach?
Tough question. There's a few candidates, or maybe only really two. There's been reports about Vance Joseph being a possible candidate, as well as Kyle Shanahan. And me personally, just because there's a little bit of history between, personal history between John Elway and the Shanahan family, being that Kyle Shanahan is Mike Shanahan's son, and they have, history with Denver, with him winning 2 Super Bowls there. He's more of an offensive-minded coach, and obviously a lot of Denver's problems were on the offense, with the offensive line, play calling, just a lot of offensive problems there. And so if you look at kind of like the background for Vance Joseph, 2 years ago, or after John Fox's hiring, they wanted him, to interview for the head coaching vacancy, or for defensive coordinator, one of those two. But I mean, he has, and he had a good interview with John Elway. But so I mean, there's some history there. But me personally, I would say I want Kyle Shanahan, just because a lot of our problems are on offense.
Right, and leaning into the offensive struggles, Trevor Siemian, he showed flashes of being a capable playoff quarterback in the future, but at times he failed to lead the team down the field. Is it time to go full Paxton Lynch this offseason, or do you let him play it out? Where do you see him?
That's a good question. We got to look at both quarterbacks this season, and obviously Paxton Lynch could use a lot more work. You can see, in terms of, his quarterback play, I would say maybe Trevor Siemian just has a little bit of leverage on him, just because obviously he outperformed him. He win the job over Mark Sanchez and him in the beginning of the season. Also, Trevor Siemian, what he can make the plays. It's just, from what I've seen, he just needs a little bit more experience. And the way I see the quarterback situation going on in Denver, I wouldn't rule anything out. Mid-season, you heard reports of maybe Tony Romo being interested in going to Denver, or how that whole situation would play out. And during the press conference for when Gary Kubiak resigned, they asked John Elway, how the whole situation was going to go down, and he said that they wouldn't rule anything out in terms of free agency, or in terms of just developing them and letting them play out. So, they both showed some flashes of what they could do, and with the year under his belt, Trevor Siemian could be a whole lot better. I'm pretty impressed with Trevor Siemian. He showed flashes of his playability of what he can do, and I think bottom line, I think it just kind of shows he just needs more experience.
Right. Now, we've seen the AFC West change so much over the past several years. I mean, when we first met, the Chargers were dominating, and the Raiders and the Chiefs, they were just laughingstock of the NFL. Then your Broncos took over, and we've seen the rise of the Raiders in Kansas City. What are your thoughts on the future of the AFC West?
It's going to be tough. You know, the AFC West has really gone up. You talk about how the Chargers dominated during that whole era. I mean, or not really era, but for continuously for a good amount of years. But I mean, if you look at these past these past 5 years where Denver has kind of won the division, it's because prior to them getting this prior to Gary Kubiak's hiring and Wade Phillips hiring, you could say that Denver won. I mean, you could say obviously they won the AFC West because of their offense, because once Peyton Manning came to town and just kind of developed a powerhouse. And prior to that, with Tebow, which was kind of a crazy year there. But I mean, they kind of became a powerhouse, and so once in the final years of Peyton Manning and Gary Kubiak comes to town, and you see this rise of great defense, and with Peyton Manning being the quarterback for the Broncos, you saw draft picks from Kansas City and from the Chargers and from Oakland, kind of they chase after Peyton Manning. You can see they've addressed it free agency wise. All three AFC teams kind of chase after Denver because they had a good offense. And now you have players like Joey Bosa coming up on San Diego. You're starting to have a great secondary in Kansas City with Marcus Peters and Eric Berry, and just a great secondary, as well as Oakland making splashes of free agency last year. And you could see the whole scheme that Denver had about making a great defense, kind of the whole AFC West kind of trying to develop a scheme to kind of stop Denver, at the time Denver's powerhouse offense. You could see how they're kind of gradually finding themselves. You saw it this year, not so much with Oakland, but I mean Oakland did make a draft pick for Derek Carr, kind of help out their offense, and I mean, not so much of their defense. Their defense isn't doing too right, but they did address it a lot during free agency. And it's just in terms of chemistry, they'll get there soon enough. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So obviously, their offense is great. And you look at San Diego, they're always, as you know, always riddled with injuries. So it's kind of hard for them to kind of just develop, anything. So, but they did invest in Joey Bosa, with the whole hold down and everything. And I mean, it looks like he's going to be a star player. So if you look at the whole AFC West, they have the potential to become just kind of what we saw in Arizona and Seattle and San Francisco during that short time. They were just a powerhouse division, and now you're seeing that with the AFC West.
All right, let's wrap this up. What are your final picks for the playoff games? We have Saturday. We have the Raiders versus the Texans. Who are you taking in this very ugly, boring matchup?
Man, it's going to be hard to watch, but I think I'll have to go with the Texans.
Texans, okay. And then Saturday we have the Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't think that game will be as bad as people think. I think Lions will put up maybe a better fight than what people are expecting them to. But I think Seattle's going to pull it out with their defense, of course.
And then Sunday, we might have Ryan Tannehill lead the Dolphins, but it's kind of questionable right now. Most likely will be game time decision. But either Matt Moore or Ryan Tannehill taking over for the Dolphins against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Who do you have?
Honestly, I'll take Pittsburgh. Even if Ryan Tannehill was starting, I would take Pittsburgh. Just because the experience is there for Pittsburgh. I mean, and the experience is not there even if Ryan Tannehill is there for the Dolphins. So I'd have to take Pittsburgh either way.
And finally, we have the Giants taking on the Packers in Lambeau. Who do you got?
That is a tough one, but I think my gut is saying the Giants, but my brain is saying the Packers, so I'll have to go with the Giants.
Nice. And finally, Super Bowl prediction. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl, and who is your Super Bowl winner? Putting you on the spot.
All right. Let me detail it out. I think every team, it's for the AFC, it's going to come down to either Kansas City or New England, and I honestly think I mean, New England will take the AFC. I'm sorry, they'll probably run.
Yeah. I know. I think we all got that.
Yeah. So AFC belongs to the Patriots, but the NFC is where it gets a little bit interesting. Obviously, the Cowboys are the good favorites, but one team, or actually two teams I don't want to play right now, but I guess we'll find out Sunday, are the Giants and Packers. But I think the one team that nobody wants to play right now is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And I think if they can get through, if they can handle the Giants like pretty comfortably, I think they'll get to the Super Bowl pretty comfortably.
All right. No love for the Cowboys. I'm shocked here. Shocked.
I mean, Texas. I'm sorry. I mean, I like the Cowboys. I don't hate the Cowboys, but I don't love them. But it's just it's experience for me. So I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the experience. And maybe next year. And then I just don't see it for the Cowboys. I mean, especially in the home field advantage. I'm sorry, that doesn't do a lot for me.
All right. Well, Dimitri, I appreciate your time. Hopefully we get you back on the show another time and maybe even have you part of the show. I'm still trying to get you on. Just become part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, I listen to this great show. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You guys can follow Dimitri on Twitter. The link is in the description down below. All right. So we saw that New York Giants wide receivers Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz, Sterling Shepard, Roger Lewis, they all got on a boat in Miami and kind of party, kind of had fun. Which, I'm kind of on both sides of this. Like, hey, that's cool, have fun. At the same time, you're preparing for a playoff game against Green Bay. Now, they were on a yacht. They were with, I think, Trey Songz was there. A few other celebrities were on there. And I get that's a way to relax, right? To wind down and cool. There were drugs there. There was weed. I don't care if you do or don't, but probably not the best thing because the NFL is on you like that. So the Giants, they play the Packers in a wild card game Sunday at Lambeau Field. They already lost to Green Bay 23-16 this season. So it kind of, I don't know where I want to go with this just yet. It is somewhat a problem. Maybe it's not a problem. Here's my thing. I'm a person. If I'm an athlete, I'm preparing for a game, especially a playoff game. My attitude, and I'm not judging these guys. I'm not saying anything against these guys, but my process throughout that week would be to stay low key, right? To stay kind of not away from everybody, but to relax in my own way of just being at the house. Maybe getting some workouts in, but watching film, just staying inside, staying in my own lane, right? I'm not going to go out on a boat, right? It's kind of my thing. They had a different plan. They went on a boat. They went to go have fun, right? Which we can't blame them. That's their lives. That's what they want to do. And Coach Ben McAdoo, he said this, quote, "The players were off. I'm not going to talk about the players and their off time. They showed up ready to work on Tuesday, had a good day of practice." I'm not too worried about this. But here's the deal. If the Giants lose to the Packers, this story, which has already been kind of big just because media likes to play things out, right? This will become a major topic of discussion all season, off season, the whole time, the whole off season. This will be a topic. If the Giants lose to the Packers in a wild card game, this will be a topic. If Beckham struggles, if Victor Cruz struggles, if Sterling Shepard and Roger Lewis struggle, which Roger Lewis has been struggling already, so maybe not just him. But if those guys struggle and the Giants lose, this will be talked about all off season long. It will be. There's no doubt about it. Because everybody's going to be saying, look, you should have been studying, you should have been watching film, you should have been not partying, not going out. You chose that, and you lost. I mean, there's no guarantee that the Packers players, they weren't out somewhere else. And so what really gets to be the story is, what's really the bigger problem here? Is the bigger problem the players, Odell, Victor Cruz, and those guys going out on a boat in Miami? Is that the problem? Or is the problem them posing for a picture and going on social media? Is that the bigger problem? Right? And there's been interviews with several players, former players, saying, what did you do when you were preparing for a week for playoffs or something? Some said, even Chris Carter, he said, being in Minnesota, we would go out to Miami, to Florida, to go relax. And by relaxing, probably getting on a boat. Probably having some fun. Because, right now, here in Texas, the weather keeps going back and forth, but right now it's 20-something degrees. I don't want to go out. And if I had the chance to hop on a plane to go to Miami or Southern California, shoot, you best believe I might go out there and do that. So, what's really the bigger problem? Is it them actually going out, or is it just being a picture on social media that goes viral, of course? And because being Odell, who Odell is, everything he does is going to be scrutinized 10 times. It's just everything's going to be bigger for him. So what's really the big story? If they win and they go on, if Beckham struggles, mainly him because he's just the bigger name. If Beckham struggles a little bit and the Giants win, it'd be somewhat talked about, but, it'd be kind of blown off. If Beckham struggles and the Giants lose, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad because that's all we're going to hear. I'm going to be the few media people who won't bring it up because I'm bringing it up now and that's all I'm going to say about it because it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, my personal opinion, I would have liked it if those players would have not posed for a picture or not have gone out. I don't know. It's someone else's life, right? So it's kind of weird, but it's a playoff game and it's a big game. I would have liked you just to stay low key. That's my thing. Just stay low key the whole time. That's all I want. That's all I want. Let me know in the comment section what you think should have happened and what's the bigger issue. Because it definitely is somewhat of an issue in a way. Cleveland Browns wide receiver Corey Coleman had his name cleared after a police report detailing alleged felonious assault took place in Cleveland early December 31st morning. His name has been officially cleared. Oakland Raiders coach Jack Del Rio announced Wednesday that rookie Connor Cook would start at quarterback over injured Matt McGloin for the Raiders at the Houston Texans in Saturday's wild card playoff game. Del Rio pointed to Cook's performance in a relief role with the Broncos on Sunday in his first NFL career. That was his first action. Passed for 150 yards, touchdown, and he did have an interception and a lost fumble, but he completed 14 of 21 passes. He went in late in the first half after McGloin injured his left shoulder on a late hit. So with NFL MVP candidate Derek Carr out with a broken leg, Cook will become the first quarterback in Super Bowl era to have his first career start come in the playoffs. And it's a good matchup against the Texans, right? The Texans have been on and off defensively, consistent-wise of how good they are and what their potential is, and then how well they've actually finished out. So I'm okay. Cook, it all worked out for the Raiders. The Raiders show that they were smarter than us, right? Because when he was drafted, it was shocked. It was shocking. I think we all say that we were shocked that the Raiders drafted a quarterback in the 4th round. They traded up to get him. And we're like, why didn't you get, a receiver, a running back, a corner, safety? Why didn't you draft somewhere where you had a need at? Why didn't you get another quarterback? Derek Carr's okay. He's good. And this is why. They were ready for it. Injuries happen. And Connor Cook, the 7th quarterback taken after a 4-year career at Michigan State. Not bad. And now he's getting his first start. So, we have our NFL wildcard predictions. Should have done this all season long. Should have made a video for it. I didn't. So, Oakland at Houston. Houston is a 3.5-point favorite. 3:35 p.m. Central Time on ABC or ESPN, depending on where you're at and if they put on both. It's going to be a tough matchup for Cook to go on the road and play the Texans. And Texans, it seems like they just, I don't know. It's a very somewhat of a boring matchup, right? It just, injuries have kind of ruined this matchup. I'm still going to take the Raiders here. I'm taking the Raiders to win, even though they're on the road. Houston, Brock Osweiler starting. You give them 2 interceptions, tops, right? Raiders can make some moves. Raiders need to play smart. Jack Del Rio's going to have this team ready. They're going to be ready. And I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders to win. Next, the Detroit Lions take it on the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks an 8-point favorite at 7:15 p.m. on NBC. I'm taking the Seahawks here. I know they've got injuries. Thomas Rawls struggling. Earl Thomas obviously being out. I'm still taking the Seahawks here. I like the Seahawks better in this matchup, especially in Seattle at night. CenturyLink lit. Seahawks W. Then we have the Miami Dolphins on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers a 10-point favorite. 12:05 p.m. Central Time on CBS. You know, whether it was Ryan Tannehill or Matt Moore, I'm still taking the Steelers. They rested up Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, a few other starters. They're rested up. They're ready to go. Steelers, even though they were beat, Ben Roethlisberger was also hurt in that game in the regular season matchup. I'm still taking the Steelers to win this game. In our final matchup, the New York Giants against the Green Bay Packers. Packers a 4.5-point favorite. All home teams are a favorite. 3:40 p.m. Central Time on Fox. I am taking the Green Bay Packers. It has nothing to do with the Giants or the Odell thing going to Miami and whatnot. It's just Green Bay is just going to be ready for this game. I like them. In Green Bay, in Lambeau, the streak they've been on, which we called it, by the way. We called it. I just want to say, we were one of the first to call that they were going to have a winning streak. They win the NFC North. I'm taking the Packers here. I want to root for the Giants. I like the Giants. I'm just going with Green Bay. They're just on a roll right now, and they got things rocking. They don't have any distractions, unlike the Giants right now. So, taking the Packers. That's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're brand new to the show, hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button. It's completely free. If you're on iTunes, do me a huge favor. Even if you're not on iTunes, download it on iTunes. Completely free as well. Give us a rating. Let's start the new year right. Give us a rating. Give us a 5-star rating. Comment down below. I'll give you a shout out on the show. If you subscribe, let me know. Tweet me. I'll give you a shout out for every follower, subscriber, raider, not Raiders as Oakland Raiders, but a rater. I will give you a shout out on the show, on the next following show. If you do it, tweet me at it. Send me an email, shortsportshow@gmail.com. Let me know, and I'll give you a shout out. Thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless. Hope everybody had a great New Year's and is already rocking out their New Year's goals. Let's do it together. I'm out. Peace.